All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole, and I'm a person in recovery, and my sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. So, tonight, you guys, we are going to have a guest speaker on. Her name is Kenna. I'm really excited. Hey, guys. So you guys go ahead and everybody get in here, and then I'm going to send Kenna an invite to join us on our live stream. So yay. So, okay, I just got done, I had to go, on Mondays, I have to mod Dr. B's chat. And just so everybody knows, I think there might be some confusion. I don't work inside of the treatment center with Dr. B. Like, I'm not a counselor or anything like that. I answer the phones and I run his social media. So I'm not like in there working with clients. I'm not like a therapist, just so everybody knows. I think some people are getting confused because I've been getting a lot of questions lately about why am I not going to school to become a counselor? And you guys, it's because I don't want to be a counselor. It's not because of anything except for I just don't want to be a counselor, But that doesn't make me any less qualified to help people, though. Like, I've been helping people for the last 4.5 years, and I help people because it's my passion. So tonight, I'm really excited, though, because so the other day, I was going through like people that I follow, and I went over to Kenna's account, and I was listening to part of her story, man, and it made me think about Rachel and Hannah, and particularly I fell upon her account, and she was talking about being human trafficked. And so when she was talking about that, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, man, I need to have her on here to talk about it, because it will help a lot of women. So here we go. I'm inviting her now. Hey, girl.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing so good. I'm so excited to have you on, like, seriously. The other night I was going past your account, and that story you were telling about how you got addicted, it like hit me dead in my tracks, because I was trying to help a girl back in April, and she was a victim of human trafficking, and the guy that was trafficking her ended up basically making her overdose and then killing her best friend. It was horrible. And so I was like, I need to have this girl on to talk about what you've went through, because I feel like a lot of girls have either gone through what you have gone through, or they're going through it right now and they don't feel like they can talk to anybody about it. So
A lot of girls in the drug world are going through what I went through, and they don't notice it. Like, it's so common what I went through. Older man gets young girl hooked on drug. Like, these young girls on TikTok who are talking about getting high on Molly and like hotel rooms with these older men, they don't get that these older men are getting off to watching these young girls get high. That's essentially what they're doing. They're getting off to watching these young girls get high on Molly in front of them,
yeah.
and essentially that leads to sex trafficking. That leads to what I went through.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would like for you to do, can you introduce yourself? Tell us what your name is. Tell us when you got sober, because I know that you're newly sober, right?
I am.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited. I know your drug of choice was meth, because that was one of my drugs of choice too. And so tell us when you got sober, what your name is, and then kind of share with us what it was like when you were growing up, and then transition into how you got into the situation that got you onto methamphetamine.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Kenna. My sobriety date is 07/19/21. My life growing up was okay. My parents were together, but they were kind of together. It was like kind of like making ends meet.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't toxic. They loved each other. but it was definitely it was definitely tough for everyone. It was like we had to make we had to do tough things to have Christmas, and it was definitely tough.
Yeah.
Growing up, definitely things that caused me to do meth was the bullying in high school I went through. I was called fat in school. I was bullied. I was called ugly. I was it sounds a lot of work.
You are
I
gorgeous. You're not
was definitely
ugly
torn in
at
school.
all. And I want you to
I
know
was
that
definitely torn.
I got bullied for being chunky too, girl. And that literally stuck with me my whole life. Like, it was one of the worst things is when other girls and guys that are your age are calling you fat. It's like, it's the worst. I know exactly what you mean.
But I went through anorexia and stuff. I went through bulimia. I had a binge eating disorder, like obviously. um, what else? I went through the foster system. It was really toxic, but I spoke about that on my page. There's video of it. I was very mean towards her, but of course, like my foster mother was very abusive towards me.
Why did you have to
Called
go into
me
foster
a
care?
guardian of me. I was a self harmer. Um, I definitely do not think that the foster system was needed for me. There are kids out there being abused by their parents,
Yeah.
and the foster system was needed for that. All I needed was family therapy. That's
Yeah.
all I needed for me. I needed family therapy and some mental health like needs looked at. That's all I needed for me. But I spent a year in foster care, and um, I did not hang around the greatest group of kids. There's this one girl who pressured me. I think her name was Caitlin, but she pressured me into losing my virginity way before I was ready to lose my virginity. I was like 15, and I
Yeah.
lost my virginity to some like 19-year-old kid. I was not ready. I was a Christian. I wanted to keep my virginity. I wanted to save myself for marriage. And that really stunted me in my growth. I hated myself. I did not love myself anymore after that. I got on the wrong path after that traumatizing experience. I started sleeping with older men. I started going out doing marijuana. And marijuana is legalized in Canada, but you know what? For me, that was so unlike me. That wasn't like Kenna at all.
Right.
And I was skipping school. Eventually I got expelled. And come 18, we moved to London, Ontario, and I'm still sleeping with men online. I'm meeting men off an app called Whisper, and then I meet a man named Alex, and he was the man of all men. Um, I was homeless for a few days. I had a fight with my parents, or I kind of just walked out. And then I came back home, and then a few days later, he's like, "Do you want to come smoke weed and chill?" I'm like, "I'm legal. I can smoke weed now." Sure. I go over and we smoke weed. I come to find out he's laced my weed with meth.
Oh, wow.
And then he's like, "Well, smoke meth with me." I see he has guns in his trailer, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. My gut instinct is telling me to run. I'm like, he's a drug dealer. My gut instinct's telling me to run, but will I make it far out of that trailer? Will I make it down his walkway?
Yeah.
I don't know. So do I run or do I smoke meth with him? I smoked meth with him,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a one-time thing, but he knew my address and he would send me threatening messages throughout the week. So I came back for a second time, and the second time he was like, "You should shoot it." And the second time it was like I felt myself sink into addiction. I didn't think you could sink that fast. I didn't think addiction was like that fast. But that time I shot it, the first time I shot it, I I felt myself sink my addiction. I just felt myself sink. And then it was right then and there that I just didn't want to stop anymore. I wanted it. I wanted more. And he knew I wanted more. He knew that he could reel me in that way.
That's what happens after you shoot. Just so you know, like, there's no way that wouldn't have happened with shooting meth because it's so euphoric and so intense. He knew the minute he got you to do that you would be stuck and he would have control over you completely.
I remember. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The first time that I smoked meth with him, he held a gun to my head. Um, he point blank held a gun to my head while he was raping. I don't know how many women is in the chat who had been raped before, so I don't want to trigger anyone, so I'm just gonna
Yeah.
spell it out. So that happened. I don't want to miss a little detail there, but that had happened, and so I was already scared. I knew what he was capable of. So I knew what my night after shooting it was gonna be like. And that night that I shot it, his friends came over and they were sitting there in the trailer, and it was the scariest night of my life. And they were sitting there in the trailer watching porn, and they're like, "Who's under the blanket? Who do you have over?" And he's like, "Nah, I already have her too fucked up. I already have her too fucked up." And I'm sitting there and I'm shaking by this point. Hi, I'm checking my face in it. My face is red in my camera. My pupils are taking over my eyes at this point, and I'm just sitting there and I'm shaking, and they're just I can't explain it. It was the scariest night of my life, and by the time they're gone, I kind of just felt my high. It was like kind of going away, and so I get up and I'm like, "Can you call me a cab home?" And he was like, "No, you're staying the night with me. I need to make sure that you don't go home and creep out your parents." And so I laid beside him that night crying, and he had guns on his head, and he woke up during the night and he was like, "Don't go in the bag. Go in the bag and I shoot you." And so, he probably had his drugs in the bag.
Yeah.
And so I went home in the morning and he gave me a crystal meth. I remember I got home and I crushed the meth. I wanted to use it, but I crushed it because I didn't want it, because it could get me in trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't have any supplies to use it. I didn't have anything to use it with. So I had no use for it, and I didn't want my parents to see it. So I crushed it when I got home. I crushed it right when I got home. But then I think it was after that. The next few days I had backaches. My muscles were hurting. I was crying. I couldn't leave my bed. My parents were asking what was wrong with me. I was like, my muscles are hurting. I can't leave my bed. I'm crying. I needed to go get back aching pills.
Yeah.
And I was searching up withdrawal symptoms. I was like, am I withdrawing from meth? And then people were like, you can't withdraw from meth. And I was like,
It's
I
like
thought I was
you're
withdrawing, but
aching and you're tired and you're depressed and you're anxious and it's like a lot of psychological, um, you know, effects, but you can't, your body is tired because you have just been going, tensed up, your heart's beating, and then it leaves
especially
your
for the
body.
first high, right? It
Right.
was my very first high, so my body was put through a lot. I remember my first high. He shot me up. I took off the tie. I was speeding around his trailer. I was like, "What the hell is happening to me? What am I going through?" I couldn't stop. I was running. You don't get it.
I know.
Running. I was running, and you couldn't stop me. He was like, "Slow down and drink some water."
And he knew that. He knew doing that to you was going to get you like that, and he knew he could control you. And how old were you when that happened?
I was 18.
Oh my gosh.
I was how far into being 18 was I? I was 9 months 18 at that point. I had been 18 for 9 months.
Wow.
I know. Who does that to an 18-year-old?
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that.
Why?
Especially
Why would you do
men
that to a child?
that use methamphetamine. They get off on it. They get off on it, and they have a sexual deviance when they're using methamphetamine.
Because meth makes you super, super aroused.
Yes.
And I remember him telling me, he looked me in the eye, he was like, "Look, you might orgasm when I shoot you up with this." And I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I'm not a sexual person. I don't really like sex. I don't need it to live and stuff. And so I didn't get it. He was like, "You might orgasm." And I was like, oh, and he was like, yeah. And he was like, so don't be scared, but you might orgasm. And I was like, okay. And then he did it, and then it happened, and I was really freaked out. I didn't like it, and I didn't enjoy it. But he was sitting in the corner smiling. He
Yep.
was smiling as it was happening. He was sitting down in his chair and he was smiling. And I felt so like not invalidated. I like, what is it? Like when someone I invaded. I felt like my personal space had been invaded.
Yeah.
Like a part of me had been walked in on, and I didn't enjoy that. Like I felt like I had been watched.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had been sexually assaulted, but I hadn't been touched, you know?
Yeah.
Because I didn't consent to that. I didn't want to be watched. I didn't want that to happen. And it was very traumatizing. I didn't know how to express it. And I haven't been able to process it at all. And he was so happy to watch it. And he knew what he was doing. And people like to sit and tell me, they were like, oh, it's your fault for going back to him. And I was like, no, it is a 33-year-old man's fault who targeted an 18-year-old and got her hooked on meth. Sure, I did the meth. I willingly did the meth, but I did it because my gut instinct told me to, so I could save my own life.
Right.
Sometimes it's better not to run.
Right. Listen to me. It was not your fault, okay? That no part of that was your fault at all. What happened to you, like, he was a grown man who manipulated you. You were just a kid. You know, I can't even imagine being with, like, a dude like that old and him, like, telling me that he was going to shoot me and have a gun on me and, like that's scary. And I used to drugs when I was younger, but I never had anybody like hold me to where I couldn't leave or make me feel like my life was in danger and making me do the drugs. And so that's not your fault at all. Like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. But you know what? The
The
fact that
scariest night,
go ahead.
the scariest night would be October 17th, 2020, when they laced me, not they didn't just shoot me up with meth, but they also laced me with fentanyl. I'm not an opioid user. I don't like downers. They are scary to me, just because there is a fine line between what gets you high and what kills you. They are
Right.
very unpredictable. My friend died to opiates. She went for her last high. She was like, oh, I'm going for my last high. I'll see you later. She never made it out of that alive. I don't like opioids. I don't like them, and I never wanted to touch them. And on October 17th, their little fentanyl buddy came over, and he made my needle that night. He was like, make it with meth, make it with meth. He put fentanyl in it, and he put just enough to almost kill me. And I remember he shot me up, and I was feeling the effects, and I ended up passing out. I woke up to his boss on top of me at 5:30 a.m. I looked over at the clock. It was 5:30. His boss is on top of me. I was saying, "Get off of me! Get off of me!" And it's like in my like mumbled little voice. I was like, "Get off of me! Get off of me!" And I look over at I'm like, Alex. I'm like, "Can you tell him to get off of me?" And he looked at him and he's like, "Keep going." And he goes back to sleep.
Ugh.
And so I sit there and I look at him and I see his eyes, and I'm like, okay. So I think about it, and I'm like, I remember he has a gun cabinet, and I think how easy it is to slip up there and get a gun and shoot me. So I'm like, I can't fight back. It is my life in the hands. So I had to literally force myself to not fight back. With every inch of me, I wanted to fight back. I wanted to kick him in his nuts. I wanted to get him off of me, because he was taking the last little bit of innocence that I had left of me. I wanted to fight back, but I had to force myself not to. So I had to force myself to stay there and lay still and let him do what he was doing until he felt like he was content. And eventually he got off, and you know what that son of a bitch did? He went and got me a Timmy's. He went and got me a coffee. And after he was done raping me, he got me a coffee. He got me a fucking coffee.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing though by just going through it, and because they would have hurt you and they would have killed you. Okay? I know exactly what you are feeling right now because, girl, I've had the same situation happen to me, and I literally had to disassociate out of my body because I was so afraid. So
I just don't know who raped someone and then afterwards they go buy you a coffee. Who rapes a girl and then says, "Oh, but I'll buy you a coffee now because I just raped you." Like, who does that?
an
Who does that?
asshole, a piece of shit, a pedophile, you know?
Speaking of coffee, where did my coffee go?
You are so strong for sharing your story, though. Like, when I was going
Well,
past
I could
TikTok,
save someone else, but on to bigger and better things. I eventually kicked that sex trafficking asshole to the curb January 4th, 2021.
how did you get away from
On
him? Tell us what happened. Tell us what you did.
I decided to go over for a high, and then I said, "You know what? I'm done with you. I'm done with what you caused me." I blocked him. I said goodbye, and I left, and I never went back. And then I did find my own way of using, and for like 6 months, as you guys have seen, I've relapsed a lot on my account. I've been so open and truthful about that with you guys.
That's okay.
But on the 19th of July, I used. And on the 20th of July, I went into the hospital, and I never looked back. And cold turkey, I stopped meth, and now I am 2 weeks clean.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And you know what? It might seem like, it's just the beginning, honestly. Like, your recovery is going to be amazing, and you're going to be able to help so many women with your experience. I remember when I was 2 weeks sober, and I was so afraid because I didn't think I was ever going to get my son back. I didn't think I would ever be able to get a job or a car, and now I have everything. And so this is just the beginning. Your life is going to be so amazing if you just stick with this and do not go back. No matter what, don't go back.
I looked at my life, and I said, I was going to be dead before I was 20. I was going to take my life before I was 20. I was going to have a heart attack before I was 20. I was going to have a stroke or something before I was 20. I was going to die before I turned 20. I was going to rip my mom I was going to steal my mom's daughter from her. I was going to rip my dad's daughter from him. My boyfriend, he was going to lose his girlfriend. My family and my boyfriend has watched their loved one fade away in front of them, and they've been able to do nothing because only the addict can save themselves. And that's so sad that no one can save the addict, but it's true. Only the addict can save themselves because it's our decision if we save ourselves. Only we can make that decision, because you can't say no, bad, stop using heroin, stop using meth.
Right.
Because they're gonna use if they're gonna use. But like, I decided that I didn't want to live that way anymore. I was done chasing the high. I was done feeling the come down. I was done wondering what tomorrow was going to be like. I was done ruining date nights with my boyfriend because I wanted to use meth. I was done ruining family dinners. I was done ruining it all because I wanted to feel the high. I don't want to feel the high anymore. I want to feel happy, and happy isn't meth. Right. I will never feel happy. Meth is synthetic happiness. That's what it is. It's synthetic. I will never feel true happiness if I'm using that.
Very true. It's a fake confidence. That's what it does. It gives you this sense of like confidence and energy, and you feel skinny, and that's what it would do for me, and it made me feel like I could do anything. But then what slowly started happening is all the things that I felt like it helped me do, it started taking those things away from me. I used to do meth.
It was like it was giving you things, but it was also ripping back all the things you really loved.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it made me skinny. It made me drop from 245 to 220 in a matter of a week. But my boyfriend was getting tired of me. He was on the edge of breaking up with me. And for you were losing your kid.
Yep.
The skinniness doesn't matter if you don't have your kid with you.
Right.
You would rather your kid than anything, right?
Absolutely. Girl, I'd rather be 400 pounds than strung out on dope, okay? Because living the meth
Exactly.
life.
I would rather be the weight of the earth than ever be high on meth again. I would rather that.
That's
Like
the
the other day, I
attitude
went to
that you
Rib
have to
Fest.
keep, girl, because it's like as you stay sober, like little things will happen in your life, and you'll have like, just life will happen, and you might hit spots where you're depressed or you have a hard time, but you just always have to remember that nothing is worth picking up. Like you could always deal with life no matter how bad it gets, but if you add methamphetamine to it, it's only going to make it worse.
I went to Rib Fest the other day, and I was thinking about it. On an average day that I would use, I would have gone to Rib Fest with my boyfriend, and the second I got home with him, I would have said, "Hey, can I go pick up some? Can I get $20 worth of meth? Can I go get 3 points so I can use?" I would have used it, and I would have ruined the whole day with him because I would have used that 3 points, and the day would have been ruined. It would have been shot for him. It wouldn't have been shot for me because I would have been high. But
Yeah.
in a way, it would have been ruined for me because I would have ruined a good day. Instead, I went to Rib Fest with my boyfriend, and I got a really cool cup with my
That's
boyfriend.
awesome.
He bought me a really cool cup.
I'm really,
I
really
got
proud of you,
ripped.
girl. Like, you have no idea how proud I am of you. And,
I actually got on Suboxone, and it's really helping me. Even as a meth addict, like Suboxone is really helping me. Um, my mom is the doctor is actually keeping an eye on me on it though, because it is like a controlled substance.
yeah.
So the doctor is keeping an eye on me, and my mom has control of it. So I'm not allowed access to it because I am an addict, and it can be abused. So I'm not allowed access to it. So I can't abuse my Suboxone. So
So they
yeah,
gave you Suboxone. Like, tell me this. So, did they give it to you specifically for your methamphetamine addiction?
they did, because in October, when I was laced with fentanyl, I went into a fentanyl withdrawal, and I was going through withdrawal, and I was experiencing symptoms of it, and the hospital put me on Suboxone to relieve it, I guess. And I found that I was staying off of meth for like 2 months until I relapsed in January. My big relapse. And my doctor, when I went in last week, he was like, "You know what? Let's try Suboxone again." So I'm on it orally for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go on injections.
Good. I'm going to tell you the truth that
He
I'm.
actually said
Go
he
ahead.
actually said that Suboxone can help meth addicts.
I'm a meth addict and an opiate addict, and Suboxone has helped me with all my addictions. Like, I haven't relapsed on any of my addictions, which is meth, cocaine, oxy, Xanax. Like, I was addicted to multiple substances, and it has helped me in every aspect of my life. It also helped with my depression and my anxiety, and they're actually doing studies on Suboxone because they have people that like me who are poly addicts who were addicted to multiple substances, and it's helping us in all of our addictions. And so there's
Mm-hmm.
actually going to be, I'm sure they're going to probably come out with data or something like that sooner or later. But I believe that if you've ever had problems or even, abused opiates and you were a meth addict, that Suboxone can definitely help you. So I'm proud of you, girl. And have you noticed that it helps you stay balanced? You're waking up in the morning, you take your medication, you're just
I
chill.
actually I actually wake up now. Like I'm on topiramate, Suboxone, and Vyvanse. And trazodone. Trazodone is a sleep medication, and then I have Suboxone. So I'm on those two. Suboxone helps me get to sleep, and so does trazodone. So I get to sleep at night, and then Vyvanse is my ADHD medication. So I get up in the morning. So I have my uppers, which is kind of acts. I act at Vyvanse kind of acts as my meth. So I actually do kind of get some meth in me because Vyvanse is kind of meth. So I actually do kind of get the meth.
But that's
Because
probably why.
Vyvanse is meth.
That's probably, listen to me. I know that you got trafficked and that's how the meth got introduced to you. But a lot of people who have ADHD, they self-medicate with methamphetamine because it helps
Really?
calm them down.
Maybe that's why I was so addicted so easily. Like it was introduced to me by this trafficking, but maybe I got addicted so easily because of my ADHD.
Right, right. It could have been. It could have been. Tell me this though. Did whatever happened to the dude that trafficked you? Is he like? Did he go to jail? Did he?
Oh, I'm moving to Oklahoma, but I'm going to be coming back to Canada soon. And the minute I get my ass back in Canada, I'm taking that bitch to court.
Are you in Oklahoma right now?
Oh, I'm going to Oklahoma soon.
Are you going to move here to the States, or are you going to just come here for fun?
Oh, I'm moving here. I'm
I
moving
live
there.
in Arkansas, which is right beside Oklahoma.
Oh, we should like meet up sometime.
Girl, listen, I
Like
was just
go to
telling
coffee sometime.
I have a girl. I coach her. She's like one of my. I do recovery coaching. Her name is Micah, and she lives in Oklahoma. It's literally like a 3.5 hour drive, and so she's going to come here. If you could come here and y'all can stay the night, I have a big spare bedroom with a bed in it, and we could have like a real talk recovery meetup, or we could go to a meeting together. Like I really
Oh,
want to do
I love
something.
that. Okay, I will so work on that. Like, if I have to, I'll even get a bus there.
I
Like, I would
really want
like
to do
that.
something like that for like all the girls. Like I want everybody to be able to we can meet like right in the middle because I think it would be so awesome and I've made so many amazing friends here on TikTok that I can't even believe it. Like I never would have made friends like this if I hadn't joined TikTok. I was so against it and I'm so glad that I joined. I'm so glad.
Well, I'm so I I'm happy I made this account. Like, I've gotten so much support on this account. It's so overwhelming.
We're proud of you,
Like,
girl. We're proud of you.
I I never oh my god, none of you understand. You guys are part of the reason I kept pushing. Um I wouldn't be here if I didn't get the support I got when you guys came in and started supporting. I wouldn't be here. I would have kept drowning. I really would have. I wouldn't have saved myself. I wouldn't have. The support really helped.
You deserve to be sober and have recovery, you know? Nope. Nobody deserves to be struggling. And we were talking about it today over on Dr. B's channel, but you know, we don't wake up and think, oh, you know what? I'm going to become a drug addict and totally ruin my life. Like, you know, it's just
Someone was telling me you. Someone was telling me saying you chose to be this way. I was like, really? Because I didn't wake up September 9th and say I'm gonna go do meth today. I didn't say
right.
that to myself. Like no one says it. Some people, sure, some of us willingly did the drug, but we never chose addiction. We never chose to lose our kids. We never chose to do the drug and like lose our kids. We never chose to lose our families. We never chose to like do that to ourselves. We never chose it. We did the
Right.
drug because you know what? Physical pain, mental pain, we did it because we're hurting. We
Yep.
did it because we're in pain. And if you can't see that, then you need to just turn your head and shut your mouth because we're in pain. That's all it is. Pain.
The Canada really screwed you over putting you in foster care just because you were having struggles with self harm. Like they should
I
have
know.
intervened and put you in therapy, but take you from your family. Like, why would they do
I
that
know.
as a
I
punishment?
know. I I don't know, but there were kids out there that were being actually abused that needed like actual foster care. Yeah, the kid who was self-harming gets put in foster care. I didn't need foster care. I needed family therapy. I
Right.
needed actual therapy. I needed a hospital stay. I needed someone to just say I love you.
Right.
I just
Right.
needed that, you know?
You're,
Like
so
I
you're.
didn't need I
How are
didn't
your
need a whole
parents
happy
now?
family that was abusing me.
What is your
Hmm?
relationship with your parents now?
My relationship with my parents is perfect.
Good.
I love my parents. They're amazing.
Good. Good. And they
I
do they know
have
that you're in
I'm ready to
recovery, or
like
do they know that you ever had an addiction?
yeah, my dad and my mom know I haven't had an addiction. My dad and I were on like a rocky page for like so long, but like he he said he was proud of me the other night, and that really made me happy.
I know
That
how you
really made me
feel.
happy.
I remember when my dad told me he was proud of me for the first time, girl, I cried my motherfucking eyes out because I wanted to hear that. I wanted to hear that ever since I was a kid, you know, because I can remember him telling me why don't you just get sober? Why don't you just quit? And I can't even remember. The last time my dad told me he was proud of me was when I was like 17 and I was playing fast pitch softball. So when he finally told me that, you know, in my 30s, after I got sober, I was just so happy. It literally made my life. So I know it's the best feeling in the whole wide world for your parents to be genuinely proud of you and for you to feel proud of yourself because you've overcome something that a lot of people don't overcome. And you know, you're very fortunate that you were able to pop back and get out of that shit when you did, because girl, I was stuck on the needle for like 10 years shooting meth, and it I almost lost everything because of it. Like my whole life I almost lost. So you're very, very fortunate that you escaped when you did, because it would have only gotten worse. It would only gotten worse.
Someone commented on my post the other day saying, "Oh, like this is kind of off topic, but someone commented on my page saying you're overweight. So how are you on the needle and on meth if you're overweight?" Like I went from blah 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 down to blah blah blah, and I was like a stick, and you're overweight and fat, and I don't believe you. You're horseshit. And I was like, I have like. Do you see that? Like that's all needle marks.
Everybody's
like,
body is different when it comes to methamphetamine.
Like, do you see that?
I see the track, yeah, the marks on your hands. Some women, though, like, listen to this.
Look like tracks, right?
Yes. Some women who shoot meth, though, it does the opposite to them because it causes an overproduction of cortisol, which is like the stress hormone. And a lot of women who are meth addicts have like a problem with gaining weight in their midsection. Like that's how it happened to me when I got sober. I have really small, like thin legs, and then my stomach got really chunky. And that's what happens because it's an overproduction of cortisol, which that happens when we're, you know, in our addiction, we're stressed out and stuff. So everybody's body responds differently. Like whenever I started shooting up, I didn't lose weight right away. Like it took a little bit for me to lose weight. I eventually did though, but it's like, you probably, the longer you stayed on it, the worse it would have gotten, and you would have kept on getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
By June, when I was using it, I used 14 grams in the month of June. I dropped from 245 to 220 by the end of June.
Right.
And I think you guys could have seen it. I think in my posts, I was starting to hide my body a lot in the month of June, and like I was kind of showing it off too, but I was hiding it in baggy clothes, and if I was wearing shorts, like my shorts were like baggy on me. Like it was kind of visible that I was losing weight in the month of June. And anyone can go back and see that too. Like my boyfriend started even commenting like, "Wow, you're losing weight." I was weighing myself every morning. I wasn't eating shit. Like I wasn't eating at all.
Yeah.
And people like I'm fat to begin with. Like
you're beautiful. Please stop. Like, you're not fat.
That's fat.
You're like, pretty and you're perfect. You know?
I'm pretty, but I'm fat, and that's not a bad word. I'm just I'm chubby. I'm a chubbo. That's okay. I'm chubby to begin with. So like I lost weight, but I was like a skinny chubby. I was a skinny chubby. I'm not a big chubby. So like you looked at me and you thought I was like they looked at me and thought I was still fat, but I had lost weight. You just couldn't know it because I was still chubby.
Right,
but,
right.
Like, the negativity on my page. Like my page is all about recovery. Just let me recover in my positivity little space, you know?
I just can't believe how people have some nerve when they're behind the keyboard. Because I promise you,
I know, right?
They wouldn't walk up to me and say that to my face. They get so bold on here with their comments, because sometimes I just think, man, you guys, people would not say half the shit that they comment on my videos. And it's like, we're just trying to share our journeys and share our experience with recovery, and you got to come on here and talk about that kind of shit. Like, just be there to support somebody, you know, lift them up.
I made my page because, you know what? What if there's a 14-year-old girl out there going through the same thing I went through, being sex trafficked, going through a meth addiction? What if she needs to see my page, and what if she feels a little less alone? That's what I think when I make my videos. What if she feels just a little less alone when she sees my video? That's what I think every time I post. if I can make a little girl feel a little less alone with what she's going through, because she's going through the exact same thing as I did, and she messages me and I can talk to her and I can make her feel okay, and I can share about my recovery with her, and I can maybe help someone recover, then that makes me happy. Also, look at my faith rock, because I'm going back into religion.
I
I'm
love
gonna get back
that.
to, so I got a faith rock
So
because
tell me
I'm gonna go
this.
back to Christianity.
What do you do daily that helps you stay sober? Do you have like any little things that you do, like
I
meditation or
pray.
pray?
I pray.
Okay.
I pray to God. And then I talk to my boyfriend. I I write poems.
That's good.
Like, do you want me to read you a poem that I
Yes, I would
recently
love
wrote?
for you to read us a poem.
Okay.
Yes.
One minute. I wrote it about meth.
I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it.
Sorry, it was really awkward me getting done.
No,
Okay.
you're fine.
Also, I this is on the hospital wall. I put fuck meth on my hospital wall.
Fuck meth. We need to make that into a bumper sticker and sell it as merch.
Okay, here it is. So this is called Love at First Sight, and it's about meth.
Okay.
He came in the form of a neat little syringe, crystal clear water almost with a bitter taste. He poured into my veins so smooth like water traveling downstream, a high that hit almost instantly. It was love at first sight. With a rush, I felt you. We danced all night long, and I stayed up for days, and I felt myself sink into addiction, but it was love at first sight.
That's how it is. I don't think, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people ask me, like, why would you do that? Or, why did you continue doing that even though you knew it was hurting you? And that's what addiction is. It's continuing to do the behavior even though it has negative consequences in your life. It's the obsession, and it's so intense, and the obsession hits so hard, especially with IV use. You didn't have a chance, girl. Once he shot you up, it was over from there,
I
honestly.
know I made a TikTok saying that. I just never posted it. The TikTok said once he took the tie off, I was doomed.
Yep, doomed for and you'll always remember that feeling. You'll never forget it because there's nothing you're ever going to experience like it. I mean, honestly. I will never forget the first time I shot up. Yeah, buddy. It was crazy. Okay, buddy. I'm doing
I need a new game.
no new games. I love you. My son plays Fortnite. He's obsessed.
Oh, I play Fortnite too. I love it.
Do you? You should. I'll send you his screen name so you can play him. Okay. I want to ask you one more question. And is it okay if I post this video on my YouTube channel?
It is.
Okay. So my next question is, if you could tell somebody that's in the audience that's struggling right now in active addiction, if you could say something to them that would help them, what would it be?
Don't give up. If you're actively using, don't give up. Maybe you're not ready now, but do not give up, because your time will come. You will get sober. If it's not now, it will be sooner or later. But I hope not later, because we always like sooner. But your time is coming. Your sobriety is coming, and I believe in you. I love you.
I believe in you too. Tell me this one other thing. What are some signs that women should look out for in men that are like human trafficking signs?
Research this.
Yes.
Okay, if you see any honey tipped over on your car, do not pick it up. Get in your car and drive off. If you see any zip ties on your car, do not pick it up. Get in your car, drive off till you're in a safe spot. And men, if they are taking you to men and telling you to get with them, saying, hey, you should sleep with my buddy, and you're seeing little dirty deals behind the scenes, don't do it. Step away and get away from that person as fast as you can. If they're sending you around to friends, basically, don't get with them. Just say no thanks, it's not who I am, and just get away from it. Treating you like a prostitute, no. If they're acting like a pimp, no. Just any behavior like that, really, that's the behavior he was doing to me, and I should have ran sooner.
Yeah. You didn't honestly you didn't know though, like being a young girl that age and being so impressionable and being around an older man, it's like you kind of want to impress him and he's older and it's cool and you're just having fun. Because I know when I was 17, I hung out with guys that were like 26, 27 years old. And I thought I was I thought I was having a great time. Now when I look back on it, I realize that that was dangerous and that I shouldn't have been there. I was way too young, and 30 something year old dudes should never be hanging out with teenagers. That's not normal. That's like a red flag, a red flag. Okay, so this is what I want you to do, Kenna. I really want to have you back on.
I say something to the
Yes,
ladies real
yes.
quick? Ladies, do not meet men off Whisper or Meet Me or any of those apps, and be wary of Tinder. Be wary. It takes a split second for them to take you into a little secluded area, rape you, and kill you, and you'll never see your parents again. Especially if you're a teenage girl watching this.
Yeah.
It could have ended badly for me. It was just a quick gunshot for me that could have ended my life and take me away from my parents. Trust me, that situation for me could have ended in my death.
Yeah.
It ended in a drug addiction for me. Trust me when I say this. It's not uncommon. It happens every night, and somewhere right now it's happening to a young girl. It's not uncommon. It happens every night. Please do not meet men that you just met a day ago off the internet. Vet them. Talk to them for a long time. Make sure you're meeting that man off the internet. Make sure you know him first. Make sure you meet him in your mother or father's presence first. Make sure you know him first. And likewise for a woman too. Men, if you're watching this, make sure you know her.
Yeah.
It could go both ways.
It can. It can go both ways.
You also, do not know the society.
What about these new things that these girls are all doing with the sugar daddy bullshit? And these girls are meeting these guys that are supposedly paying for these people and blah, blah, blah. It's like I see younger and younger and younger girls looking for sugar daddies. You know?
I saw a 15-year-old out with a guy the other day, and I think if you're 18 and you have a sugar daddy, go ahead. But if you're 15, I don't think you should be doing that
stuff. No, absolutely not. Right.
If you're 18, you do you. You do you. You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. But at 15, you do not need to be doing sexual stuff for money with a man.
Right, exactly. And it's almost like
I made that mistake and I got groomed.
It's like glorified here on the internet, though, this sugar daddy bullshit. And I see young girls talking about it. One other thing. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. I want you to come back on when you hit your 60 days and then when you hit your 90 days. So, in 2 weeks, you'll have 30 days, right? And how old are you right now? 20?
I'm 19, turning 20, and
19, you guys. She's 19 years old and she's got 2 weeks sober. Bitch, we're going to be watching you when we're going to celebrate your 90 days, your 6 months, your 1 year. I mean, this is a big deal. All the kids out there that are watching Kenna right now, she's got 2 weeks sober. She's 19 years old. I mean, like, this is your chance, girl. You don't ever got to go back to that life. You could literally be my age.
I'm not ever going back.
You could be my age in 20 years and be telling everybody about how you got 20 years sober. Okay? Like, that's huge. I'm so proud of you. Like, I am so proud of you. And it takes so much courage and strength to share the things that you're sharing online. You are doing amazing. Don't let anyone make you feel less than. You really get focused and you get connected with some other women in recovery, and you connect to those women. You stick by them and you stay sober, okay? You could call me anytime. I'll send you my cell phone number. I'll message you my cell phone number. You can text me or call me anytime. If you're struggling or you like have a day where you want to do something but you don't know if you you should. Like, that's what you do. You utilize other women in recovery, and you get strength from them, and you share what you're going through, and you don't hide out. You like keep talking about what you're going through. Don't be ashamed. If you utilize your TikTok as like a virtual journal, that's great. I did the same thing. I had a year sober. I started sharing my story, and it saved my life. It gave me purpose, and I've been doing it ever since. So thank you so much for coming on here and sharing so openly about what
No
you went
problem.
through. I'm proud of you, okay?
Once again, everyone, I cannot stress this enough. I will say it to the day I die. Be careful. I will act like a mom at this on this topic. Do not ever meet someone after talking to them for just a day off of Whisper, off of Bumble, off of Tinder, off of Meet Me, off of those apps. Do not just go and randomly meet someone after talking to them for like an hour or a day. Talk to them for like 2 weeks. I don't care. Make sure you know them first, and make sure you send pictures of them to your friends and family, so that if you go missing, you say, hey, this is a picture of this guy named Jim. Send that to your sister and say, hey, this is a picture of a guy named Jim. I'm going to go see him. If I go missing, this is what his name, this is his address, this is his place. Make sure these people have backups, so that if you go missing, they know that that guy is held responsible. Because I made that mistake. I should have sent the address of my sex trafficker to my sister, so that if I had been shot, my mom and my dad had a police officer who was on to the sex trafficker's house, and they had a guy that they could arrest. At that point, they would have just been worried. They wouldn't have known, and my dead body had plenty of time to just be tossed somewhere, and he would have gotten off. I was stupid. I didn't play it smart. And at the end of the day, if I had died, if I had been shot, I would have been tossed somewhere, and he would have gotten off, because he's a criminal. He knows how to trick the system. Criminals know how to play the cops, and they get off free a lot of the time. So be careful, please, because I don't want to see another girl or guy get hurt and trafficked and stuff, because it's not uncommon. It happens every day, every hour, every minute.
Well, thank you so much, girl. I'm going to text you my phone number, okay? Please stay in touch with me. Promise?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I promise. Girl. This is really fun. I enjoy this.
I love you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, for coming on. Have faith. Have faith.
You're welcome, girl. I'll text you later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bye, baby. Bye. Oh, you guys. She is 19 years old. She has 2 weeks sober. Will you guys promise me you'll go over there and follow her on her account and support her? That we need to be supporting her. Us older folks over here that have been sober for a while, we need to go over there and lift her up and support her and cheer her on and rally around her. Okay? That's a huge, huge step, getting sober at such a young age. Like, damn, dude, I can't even imagine. I'm kind of getting a little emotional. Hey, Denise, I saw you saying that, but who are you talking about? Who's the girl with the Monroe piercing? Her name is K Recovery, you guys. K as in kitten, recovery. K Recovery, and go follow her, please, y'all. It makes me want to cry too, you guys. She did such a good job. You guys, that is like, she's like she could be my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, such a sweet girl. I gotta wash my face. So her account is K Recovery. I'm gonna wash my face. I'm so tired tonight, you guys. Also, I want to tell y'all, Renee, her account got taken down. So I told her that we would email TikTok and try to help her get it back. I'll put the email on the last video that I uploaded. But thank you guys so much for coming and supporting me and being here. I think tomorrow night I'm trying to get Sammy to come on and share his story from Sober Comedy. But if you guys have people you want me to interview, Catherine, okay, I will absolutely reach out to her. Okay, Denise, absolutely. If you guys have people that you want me to introduce or introduce, that you want me to interview, send me the person's name and I'll reach out to them. I already had Catherine on my list of people. Catherine with the dark hair, right? That's from Kensington. I already had her on my list, so that will be no problem whatsoever. But yeah, so we'll have Catherine on. I'll reach out to her tonight to see when she can come on. But you guys have any recommendations, just message me and let me know, okay? I'm going to go lay down after I wash my face, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm uploading this video on YouTube right now. Bye, y'all.